All right, Nick, let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints have been searching for that answer at quarterback ever since the departure of Drew Brees. They haven't quite found the right answer, but on the horizon, Nick, there's a lot of news out there, and there just might be a guy coming into town who could be that answer at the quarterback position.
But Miles, before we get into that, Saints fans, we want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Obviously, Super Bowl weekend right around the corner. It's obviously the biggest game of the year every year. Your Saints aren't in it. It's going to be tough to watch. But listen, we're all going to watch it because we all love football. Last football game for a very, very, very long time. We want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Give us your pick for most valuable player. Let us know who you think is going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl in the comment section below. But all right, Miles, get us this latest news at the quarterback position coming out of New Orleans.
Yeah, Nick, you say that, but you forget that New Orleans has the New Orleans Breakers of the USFL. So maybe those are
Yeah,
the
fair
fans want to
enough.
check them out. You never know how it's gonna go. But into the story, Nick, about the QB position, we all heard the news. Maybe the Saints looking at Derek Carr potentially. We posted a video about it a little while back. But now things are kind of heating up. Nothing official, but Raiders have given Derek Carr permission to meet with the Saints and talk about this. And you might think to yourself, okay, that sounds interesting. What exactly does that mean? So reported this Tuesday by Ian Rappaport, Derek Carr have been granted permission to meet with the Saints. So what that means basically is since Derek Carr has a no trade clause, they want to make sure that everything is squared up before they allow him to just willy-nilly go meet with all of these teams. So the Saints, in principle, more or less, have agreed to the Raiders' terms of what the trade is. So everyone is agreeing there. Now the next stage is Derek Carr has to be wooed by the Saints, and they have to kind of, he wants to make sure he's there. They want to make sure he's the guy. But basically, the Saints have agreed to whatever the Raiders have been asking for Derek Carr. No one's quite sure exactly what that is going to be yet. But now it is between Derek Carr and the Saints to figure out if it is the right fit. And I think it's really interesting, Nick, because the Saints have a ton of weapons on offense, and they have a really, really great defense as well when everybody is healthy. So I think they're one, pretty solid, maybe a little bit above average game managing quarterback away from making those playoff runs. And I think Derek Carr is that. He is a level above Andy Dalton, and he is a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more play savvy, game managing quarterback than Andy Dalton would be. What do you think about the Saints potentially with Derek Carr?
So I think this is an interesting dynamic, right? Because anytime a quarterback has a no trade clause, obviously, like you said, he has to agree to go to a certain team. And you talk about the deal in principle. There's a lot of rumors going along the internet right now, and it seems to make sense that the Raiders would be willing to get just a third and a fifth round draft pick from the Saints for Derek Carr. That kind of jives. That rumor seems to make sense to me because last season Matt Ryan was traded for a third round pick, so it kind of just makes sense. Carson Wentz was a second round pick, so third and a fifth round pick just seems to kind of make sense, follow that trend. So I see that as where the deal probably aligns between the two programs, which look, makes a lot of sense for New Orleans. I think a third and a fifth round pick is a steal to get a guy like Derek Carr. If, and here's the big kicker, Mice, you can get him to restructure his deal because his cap hit would be absolutely massive. And the New Orleans Saints obviously are in a little bit of a cap hole right now. I trust Mickey Loomis to get out of it. He's found a way to extend dollars and make the cap numbers work out year in and year out. Every year, it seems we're talking about the New Orleans Saints and their cap situation and what the heck's Loomis going to do this time. I think he'll figure it out. But I think Derek Carr needs to agree to take a cap hit to make it all work, or at least restructure his deal. And I think he will, because you alluded to it, Mize. This is a talented roster. I think Olave is a future superstar. I really like some of the guys at tight end. I like Johnson. I like Troutman. He's a solid player. Kamara is still a superstar. This offensive lineman, you got the young guys in Penning, the veteran, and Ramczyk, right? They've got some pieces there. Their defense is very good. I like a lot about this Saints roster. I like their offensive coordinator, Carmichael. There's a lot to really like on this team. They just need to be better and more consistent at quarterback. And Derek Carr is kind of the stable force to come in here and kind of right this ship. And here's the other thing, Mize. If you look at that division, if you add Derek Carr into the mix for the next 2 or 3 years, the Saints win the division those 2 or 3 years. Because the Panthers, we have no idea what the quarterback situation is like. It's Sam Darnold or Matt Corral right now. The Buccaneers, it's not Tom Brady. They're not going to be anything. And of course, the Atlanta Falcons, we don't know if Desmond Ritter's any good or not. They may be going after somebody else. Like there's a lot of question marks there. If the Saints get Derek Carr, they are the division winner next year and the year after, guaranteed, done deal. And I think that in of itself is worth a third and a fifth round draft pick and maybe some cap restructuring.
Yeah, Nick. And just how the Rams, everyone said the Rams are going the F them picks route. I think Mickey Loomis is kind of like the F that salary cap. Somehow he's able to navigate. So I think if anyone,
I want him to do my taxes, man. What he does with the numbers is unreal.
He's a wizard. So he's able to, get the salary cap under control. And the last point I want to touch on, Nick, is we're looking at a potential reunion. We talked about a reunion with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams last season, but now we're talking about a reunion with Derek Carr and Dennis Allen, who was the head coach of the Raiders the year that Derek Carr was drafted. So that adds another interesting wrinkle into things as well. And I think maybe that's the reason they're working towards Derek Carr. Maybe Dennis Allen has some insight into Derek Carr and his game and why he would be a good fit for New Orleans.